Superman and Lois was a show that I think we can all agree that we all were looking up to when it was announced, going even to season 1. And the pilot, they're all the episodes of season 1. Every single episode bringing us back each week with wanting more than what we got the week before, and it delivered in season 1. And at the time, with Crisis on Infinite Earths and Arrow ending, with literally Crisis setting up this show, and it being overly hyped up, which the hype was well-deserved, by the way. At least for the first season. Like I said, going to the first season, it was great. Second season, in the first season we had a few breaks. It wasn't that many, it was controlled very well. Second season, it felt like it just got out of hand. We had 2 to 3 episodes a week, and then we got a month off, came back for another 2 to 3, month off, and so on and so forth throughout the entire season pretty much. I think maybe the first quarter was 5 episodes, and it just kept splitting off to month breaks in between a few episodes. That killed the show. First off, that ruined the second season of the show. However, what ruined it even more was the Allie storyline. Now, not everyone agrees with me on this. There's a lot of things I'm going to talk about in this video that a lot of you will agree with. There's a lot of things you won't. I know for a fact this is one of the things that a lot of people will not agree with. But rewatching season 2, a ton of it, and the important things at least, the Allie storyline was messed up. And it had a lot of plot holes. But no one cared enough to comment on it. At least not a majority of people did. Because it looked great. And the ironic thing was that the writers obviously didn't care enough to make the big bad good enough to the point where they had to drag her out, which could have been done a lot better, now with less episodes. 15 episodes is great for season 2. The problem was that they didn't explain enough for Allie. I mean, 1 minute she's trying to get pendants, the next minute she's taking some of his powers, or I'm sorry, 90% of his power, which is stupid. If you're taking some of his powers, take his full power. Don't leave a little percentage. That's so stupid. Okay, when Barry lost his speed in 2 of The Flash, right? It was completely gone. But his Speed Force is still in him, right? I guess that we're saying for Clark. But this isn't The Flash, it's Superman here. No, that's not how that should work. If you're taking some in power, take the entire thing away. Whatever. I already talked about that in a full video, but the downfall of Superman and Lois for a lot of people, including myself, started with the Allie storyline just not working. And the month-long breaks did not help anything. I think the idea was great, but the setup and the writing was blatantly horrible for this show with the Allie villain and the story running with the side stories and all that. It was just annoying and horrible, especially with the Lana crap that was going on. I think a lot of people I know in my comment section while I was doing reviews on them said that Lana was the most annoying part of these episodes because she was just annoying, and she was. There's no reason for Lana to hate Lois about Clark's secret that Clark kept to protect her. Lana didn't. It was just a whole thing. It made no sense. That was another thing that made viewers be really annoyed at this show. The other thing, the third point, was the Arrowverse disconnect. It literally was mind-blowing to a lot of, 80% of the viewers of the show, that this show's not part of the Arrowverse when it piggybacked off the Arrowverse's popularity. Now, there's a lot of people that will deny that, but let's look at the facts. Superman and Lois was meant to be on the Arrowverse. Period. It was. This show would not be happening without Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, none of them. It wouldn't be happening. That's one point. Second point, Crisis on Infinite Earths set up this show. If you remember at the end of Crisis, there was a scene specifically for this show with Lois telling Clark, it's the boys. It was setting up Jordan and Jonathan. Another point, there was going to be a Supergirl mention in season 1, but it got scrapped. Dig has showed up twice. All these things that happened were going to be connected to the Arrowverse, but then they straight up said and sat on it for a year, it's not part of the Arrowverse, you should have known better, and this is your fault. That's what set me off, was Todd treating the viewers like idiots, at least the Arrowverse community, for not realizing it wasn't a different Superman when he's literally the same freaking character, just in a different suit. That's it. And he's a little bit more powerful, which, you know something? If this show was in the Arrowverse and it was on Earth Prime, it was the same Superman from Supergirl, it probably would still be the exact same story with the same overpowered Superman that we've been wanting in live action for years now. They still probably would have done that. Like, legitimately, they probably would have done that. It wouldn't matter if the Earth Prime Superman is weak. They would have amped him up like they did with the Flash in season 8. And so, what we are dealing with is a lot of Arrowverse viewers, or fans, I should say, not going to be tuning in to season 3 Superman and Lois because it's not part of the Arrowverse. It's going nowhere, right? They're starting this quote-unquote superverse, if you could even call it that, with supposedly, we don't know yet, but supposedly Justice U and Gotham Knights, which is hilarious, by the way, if that's true. But that's not going to go anywhere. Gotham Knights has not been received well, and Justice U, if it's not part of the Arrowverse, that show ain't going to last long. I'm sorry if you don't want to admit that, but that is the truth. Justice U will not last long when it's featuring Diggle, the character that we've been that we love every time he shows up, no matter on what show. We love seeing David Ramsey, and you're gonna give him a show and not put it on the Arrowverse? That is straight up disrespectful to Arrow, to Steven, to Grant, to Flash, to all the shows that kickstart this universe. You're just basically calling them trash, garbage, and we're done with them. That's what they're doing. But nonetheless, under 24 hours ago, just coming to the third or fourth point of the show's downfall, was we learned that Jordan Elsas, I don't know how to say his last name, who plays Jonathan Kent on Superman and Lois, will not be returning. Now, there's been two main reasons going around. There's one true reason, there's two that people are speculating on. The first one, which is the real one, is his mental health. He went onto Instagram. I saw it. I didn't get a screenshot of it. I know if certain people did. You could probably look it up and find it. Where he was talking about his mental health issues. He was having, he was going to a facility for help, which is good. I'm glad he's getting help. He should be. But if he needs to choose between his mental health and the show, he needs to choose his mental health over the show. If you've been through mental health, you get that. If you haven't been through mental health problems like depression, anxiety, all that, you're not going to get it. I have been through depression, and as a matter of fact, I went through it in February of this year, and it was not light depression, it was major depression, and I dealt with it on my own. That's not saying that I can't handle having people help. It's just I handle things my own way, just like he does. We all handle things different ways. He went to a facility. He is going now, from what I've heard. So he is getting the help that he needs, which is good. However, what the show is doing, instead of writing off Jordan and putting some plot for Jordan, which I want to bring up what they could do for Jonathan, if it was part of the Arrowverse, because I thought of this earlier, and I was like, they just dug themselves a big hole here, as per usual. But the thing is that they're recasting Jonathan, which never ends well, by the way. I can't think of one time where they've recasted someone and it sits well with an audience, because it just doesn't, right? Now, if there's like a kid, like Jenna, for example, on The Flash, if they recasted her, we wouldn't care because she's a kid. We barely even see her. I don't think we've ever seen her, besides as a baby. So if they recasted the person who plays Jenna, like as a 10-year-old or something, it wouldn't matter. We'd still know, we'd be the first time interested in the character. As for like Sarah, on Superman and Lois, if she left and she was recasted, it would be weird. It's similar to Jordan or even Clark, which that would never happen, obviously. But having the main lead's kid being recasted, that's not going to sit well. And it's already not sitting with audiences. Now, the second thing that's been going around is that Jordan Elastis quit the show because they're going to make Jonathan supposedly bi. He didn't want to be a part of that. There's a ton of BS rumors. None of that is true. What I am telling you was confirmed by Jordan Elastis on his Instagram account, which is recently his post taken down. But again, he did say that he is going to a mental facility to get help for his mental health. That is the truth. That is the reason. People won't report on it, but it is the reason. It's nothing to do with Jonathan becoming bi in the show or whatever the hell the reasons are. That's not the reason. The real legitimate reason is he has mental health problems. That's why he's leaving. My problem with all this is that they're recasting Jonathan. They shouldn't, because the show's already going downhill. And who the hell are they going to recast Jonathan to? Now, as I said earlier, I brought up a point. What could they have done with Jonathan if they weren't going to recast him? If it was part of the Arrowverse, here's what they could have done. It's hilarious that if you really think about it, and it's also depressing that they dig themselves into a hole here. They could have had Jonathan go to National City and just hang out with Kara. Like, did anyone think of that? If it was part of the Arrowverse, there'd be... I don't know the full story that would happen there for that to happen. But there could have been a setup to where Jonathan leaves Smallville. If everything that happened, he wants to get a new fresh start. On some level, he wants to get away from it all. So he goes to National City. He hangs out with Supergirl, with Kara. I mean, God. Like, they just dug themselves a hole. Like, they could have done so much with the Arrowverse. But just right now, the Arrowverse are coming in handy. But they won't admit that. So it's like, you can't write Jonathan off and make it work now. So you have to recast him, because if he doesn't just show up, it's like, where the hell is he? He's part of the main cast. He's supposed to be on the show, but obviously he can't be. But, so we need this character, because they've written stories for him already. So, the best possible option to do is to recast him. And again, that's not sitting well with me, because and again, a lot of people don't sit well with this. The show's already going downhill. Season 3 is going to be a train wreck. I'm calling it now. I'm not going to watch Season 3 just because of the Arrowverse disconnect. And I'm not the only one. There are probably thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of Arrowverse fans. And the majority of them who are watching Superman and Lois are not going to watch this show in Season 3 because of the Arrowverse disconnect and the massive disrespect they did to the Arrowverse fans. And there were a lot of people pissed off about it, including me, which frankly, I'm still pissed off about it. But, and I think a lot of us are, we just don't like to admit it publicly. But what we need to be looking at is the inevitable conclusion that Superman and Lois could in fact end by its third or fourth season, which is depressing. Considering how good the show started, and then just by one season, we're like, okay, this is done. Now, this isn't like The Flash, right? This isn't like that. With The Flash, we had a good, 3 to 4 years. It kind of dipped, but it still had good moments, And Season 6 kind of redeemed the show, and then it went down because of COVID. Season 7 was a mess. But Season 8 was like Arrow Season 5. It redeemed the show, right? For a lot of us, at least. For OG fans, it redeemed the show. Superman and Lois, Season 2 was just a train wreck from beginning to end. If you really think about it. I mean, it was just a train wreck. The entire idea of it was built on sand, and it quicksand, and it just, fell right through. That's what Season 2 was. Season 3, we're looking at a recasting of one of the main leads of the show, the kid, that doesn't have powers. That we've been hoping would have powers. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love seeing Jordan, Jordan and Ken having powers and all that. I love seeing the relationship between Clark and Jordan working on their powers together. It's great. But the thing is that the writing is lazy. Everything, it looks great, but it's lazy. We can't have that on a show like this. Not when you set the bar so high. Especially when Todd worked on Smallville. You think he would know better, but clearly he doesn't. Then again, he did give us Savitar Bear with the piece of face, and he did a whole bunch of other stupid things with The Flash, so I guess that makes sense, right? But look, I respect Tyler. I respect Elizabeth. I love them as who they play. The person who plays Jordan Kent, I love Alex Griffin. I don't know his last name, but Alex, he's amazing. Jordan Elastis, obviously previously Jonathan Kent, he was amazing on the show. Person who plays Sarah, she's amazing. All the cast is amazing on the show. But the writing is lazy. The Arrowverse disconnect, the toxicity from Todd Helbing to the Arrowverse viewers was just straight up disrespectful and not called for. Therefore, it makes me not want to support the show. I think a lot of Arrowverse fans can agree that they won't be supporting. So, inevitably, this is the downfall of Supergirl and Lois. Right here. I pointed out like 5 different things in this video. Straight up downfall of Supergirl and Lois. With the Arrowverse disconnect, the Allie storyline not working out, season 2 being a straight up mess. The recast of Jonathan, those are 3 things right there that are just a straight up mess. And it's not going to end well. Whether you want, it could be a great recast, right? But we're still going to look at this character as Jordan Elastis. We're not going to look at it as who the hell the next person's playing Jonathan. We're going to look at it as that. And that's not going to work. Because they're not going to explain it. They never do. And it's not just this show, it's with any show. Like, period. They never explain recasting. Because why would they? There's no reason for it. It's not like Ralph where you can change up his whole body and face due to some accident and bring him back with someone new, which the Flash hasn't done yet. But if they wanted to, they could. They set up a story to where he could. When you have a regular human being on a TV show, let alone a superhero show, and you need to recast him like Jonathan is, that doesn't really sit well. There's no explanation for it. It just happens. And it's like, what the hell? So, there's not a lot of things that you can entirely do to sit this well on people's minds and be like, okay, this is going to work out. I don't think it is. And that's a prediction. I'm assuming. I don't really care. I'm doing it. I predict that this will not end well. And that the show will more than likely get canceled by the end of its 3rd season if it's not ending on its 3rd season. I really do believe that. Based on how the viewerships will more likely drop in season 3, based on how the viewers will react to season 3, which will not be well, and how the viewers have been reacting since 215 aired, the season 2 finale aired, especially from the Arrowverse community, as I said already, not well. This show is inevitably coming to its end faster than we ever thought it possibly would. That is the truth. It's just whether you want to look at the facts, look at everything, and you can see that. Now, if something breaks with Supergirl and Lois, I will more like a report on it. I don't know. I'm still debating it. Probably not. Because I don't care about the show anymore. But look, I hope Jordan Elastis gets the help that he needs. My heart goes out to him, obviously. But this is a major bad thing for Supergirl and Lois. On the top of everything else that we got for Supergirl and Lois, which has not been good. Since Allie, and everything just went downhill from there. So, that's what we're looking at. I just want to do this video to kind of just give my thoughts on it and, talk about certain things and just clear things up. Because there's been confusion, a lot of it, wearing the Jordan Elastis. So I want to use this video to do that. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.